Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scare204 here bringing you another Minecraft Cold War aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Mil Mi-24A. The Mil Mi-24, known by the new reporting name as Hind, is a large helicopter gunship, attack helicopter, and low-capacity troop transport with room for 8 passengers. It is produced by Mil Moscow Helicopter Plant and it was introduced by Soviet Air Forces in 1972. The helicopter is currently in use by 58 countries. In NATO circles, the export versions Mi-25 and Mi-35 are denotated with the letter suffixes Hind D and Hind E. Soviet pilots called the Mi-24 the flying tank, a term used historically with the famous World War II Soviet Il-2 Sturmovik armored ground attack aircraft. More common unofficial names were the Galena, Crocodile, due to the helicopter's camouflage scheme, and drinking glass because of the flat glass plates that surrounded the early Mi-24 variant's cockpits. And right in front of us we have that early version. You probably notice right away that it's really kind of strange compared to the Hind that we all know and love with the 2 bubble canopies. This one here is the first production variant, the Mi-24A. It was originally designed to have basically just one solid cockpit for both a pilot and a gunner, and was just kind of a giant glassed off canopy. And then obviously the later ones after this one, they introduced the 2 bubble canopies, which I think is a way better design for the Hind and just makes the helicopter probably one of the sickest looking helicopters in the world, in my opinion. But this here is that kind of, father to that variant, and I think this one is still a really cool design and definitely deserves some love and some attention. Now, before we go ahead and jump in to take a look at this build, I do want to go ahead and give a thanks to Derek Frost Westbrook for commissioning this build. If you guys are interested in commissioning a build for yourself, then feel free to send me an email at garrett2by4@gmail.com, where we can go and discuss pricing and get you guys a commission build of your choosing and all that stuff. So definitely feel free to take advantage of that program if you guys are interested in, have a few extra dollars laying around. Now with that, let's go ahead and dive in here to take a look at the Mi-24. So right away you'll notice that the base of it really, or the main helicopter, looks just like the standard one that is currently in service today. Realistically, they didn't really change much. The real difference here is going to be that cockpit up on the front, which is just vastly different from the one that's currently being used. It's pretty interesting though. You'd have like a pilot seat and then a gunner seat, and the gun is also kind of right here underneath the glass as well, which is kind of strange. But it's a really cool design there, and just something a little unique and a cool build to add if you have some really kind of early Cold War scenarios you're trying to build or something of that sort. Then as we go further back, as I mentioned, it's pretty much the same fuselage from here on back for the Hind. You have your crew compartment here where you can have troops seated and obviously doors to deploy them. We have the gunship capabilities here with the unguided rocket pods here, and then also some guided rockets like that. So pretty cool armament there. Still the same armament that is used on the Hind quite a bit today. We then have the kind of tail here. Again, really nothing too crazy or fancy with it. And we get all the way back here. We have our horizontal stabilizers, our vertical stabilizer, and our tail rotor. And of course, we have the main rotors up on top here. This is a 5-bladed helicopter, so a bit of a funky one to do, but should be pretty straightforward and all that. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the overview of the Mi-24A Hind. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer here, we will be going ahead and start off with layer number 1. Now, for this tutorial, we will be going ahead and doing this in a layer by layer setup. So we'll be going ahead and building one layer at a time and basically working our way up from there. If you are interested in doing the landing gear, we do have a landed version available as well. So we will have one with the landing gear extended and all that stuff. So you will be able to use that and have this, landed at an airfield or whatever you want to do with it. But you will want to make sure you start layer 1 here, basically on that second block level up from the ground. So you can see obviously the ground here, our grass plane, and we have one block of space represented by the yellow concrete between the ground and the start here of layer 1. Very important to make sure that's correct, because if not, it won't sit properly and your helicopter will be all off. So once you have that squared away, we can go ahead and kind of continue and build through this. Now we're also going to be doing this in a half-on, half-off format. For the most part, this aircraft is completely symmetrical, so whatever we do on one side will be done to the other. What this means for you guys is that we're going to be going ahead and building this with basically the center line and then the right side, and it'll be up to you guys to copy the right side over to the left side. Pretty straightforward stuff, and just kind of what we're going to be going ahead and doing throughout this build. Now to get started with here, we're going to be going ahead and set up our white underbelly. We're going to start with a polished diorite full block and a top slab going forward from it. We're going to go ahead and place down an iron trapdoor coming off the top slab to create our front. Behind this full block, we're going to place down a diorite wall, and then we want to place down our slabs. So we have our diorite slabs. We're going to place down a row of diorite slabs down the center line here for a total of 14, and those are going to be top slabs down that length. And then we just want to place down an iron trapdoor on the very end. On this last slab here, we're going to place down an iron trapdoor to the side, and then we're going to go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 polished diorite top slabs, and then 2 iron trapdoors. After that, we want to go ahead and go to our 4th top slab from the front. So this one here, we're going to place down an iron trapdoor, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 iron trapdoors back to go ahead and create the sides there. Also, up here on the front, we want to go ahead and grab ourselves a barrier block. So we can obtain this by typing the command /give @p Minecraft :barrier, or just barrier itself, and it'll give you this block right here. Now, it's also known as a structure block on the other versions of Bedrock. So on Java, it's a barrier block. On Bedrock, it is a structure block. We're going to go and basically build 2 spaces out to the side here from this iron trapdoor in the front, and then we're going to place down a barrier block like this on the end. We can then delete these 2 blocks here, and we can go ahead and then place down a lever and have that flicked upwards like so. And going forward from the lever, we're going to place down a chain like that for some instruments on the side of the forward fuselage. And that's going to wrap up what we have there on the sides. Then going ahead and focus our attention to the back of the aircraft. We're going to go, or rather actually at the sides. We're going to go and go to the iron trapdoors here, and we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks to the side. And over here we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that, we want to go ahead and grab our iron trapdoors, and we're going to place down an iron trapdoor coming off this slab like this, or coming off that block like that, 1 block back, and then we're going to go ahead and place down 3 iron trapdoors forward. So you have a row of 5 there. After that is done, we're going to go ahead and then build a space of 2 out from this iron trapdoor, so this second to last one, 1, 2. And then we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate, open this toward or away from the aircraft toward the back, and then another fence gate like this. This one here will be opened up toward the front. We're going to go then delete any blocks that we placed, these placeholder blocks. And we want to go ahead and then go to a space out from the side of these fence gates. So just like this for both sides. We're going to place down levers on the sides here, and then we're going to go ahead and on Java use a block or a tool called the debug stick. We'll type in the command /give @p Minecraft :debug_stick. So this command here, press enter, will give you this glowing stick. You can then left click these levers until you get selected facing. We're going to go ahead and then rotate these around until they connect to the fence gates, and we're going to do that for both sides there. And the same thing will be done on the other side. That's going to be for our weapons that we're going to be mounted into those later. Now, unfortunately, there is a you don't have the debug stick on version other than Java. If that's the case, then you'll probably have to just disregard these levers altogether, as you'll not be able to do them. But again, that's something you guys can experiment around with and maybe come up with an alternative for it. But again, that's going to be more of a Java feature to do what we did there. Anyways, though, with that all done, you're going to take the same thing we did on the right side and copy it over to the left side. So this is what it should look like from up above once you have your layer all complete. That is going to conclude everything for layer 1, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 2. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer number 2. I went ahead and turned off my shaders. I forgot to do that for that first layer there, so my apologies for that. Everything should be a little bit easier to see now with the shaders off, but let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to place down a black concrete block on top of that iron trap door, and then a polished blackstone upstone stair coming off that like that to go ahead and start our front there. We're going to go then place down a row of polished diorite down the center of the build for a total of 19 blocks. That should stick one past this iron trapdoor that we placed in the previous layer. For my Java players, we're going to go ahead and then place down an upside down piston. If you are not on Java, I'd recommend instead of a piston to go ahead and place down a polished diorite upside down stair like that in the spot of the piston. But again, if you're on Java and have the debug stick, go ahead and place down a piston. And then we're going to place down a diorite top slab. To the side of the piston, or this block here, we're going to place down a diorite top slab and then an upside down diorite stair. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 polished diorite blocks forward, a diorite wall, and then a white stained glass pane like that on the front there. We're going to go to the second and third from front blocks. We're going to place down 2 white stained glass panes, then 2 diorite walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 diorite full blocks back, 2 diorite walls, and then again 2 white stained glass panes, like that, going back from the build. Now, once that's done, we have our aircraft, or we have some detailing here on the side, and in the space we represent a bunch of little access panels, most likely for maintenance, little maintenance panels from my experience, located on the side here of the aircraft, so we're going to go and include those. We're going to place down a item frame next to on this wall here with a white bed in the item frame, rotated sideways. We then want to place down another item frame with a polished diorite block in it, and 2 more item frames back with white beds sideways in those item frames. And then we're going to go and skip a space, another item frame with a white bed, skip an airspace, and another item frame with a white bed. So just like that along the side there. And then we're just going to take birchwood signs, and if you're on Java, you can place birchwood signs on the side there, and it just kind of helps blend the item frames in a little bit more with the aircraft. So that right there is going to pretty much do it for that, and that'll be on both sides there. Again, just represents some little maintenance panels that come off. With that done though, we then want to go ahead and go down our center line here. So after this slab, we do have something on the very back here. We're going to go ahead and just place down a row of blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks back. We're going to place down a fence gate. After that 10th block, we're going to open the fence gate away from the helicopter, so that way. And then a skeleton skull coming off like that, and that'll be for this back hook or tail portion that comes down. And we can then delete those blocks once you have that placed. After we're all done with that, we're going to go and grab some polished andesite, some deep slate tile slabs, or full block rather, a skeleton or with a skeleton skull, and then a polished black stone wall and some iron trapdoors. Now for the missile pods here, we're going to place down a polished black stone wall like this, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 polished andesite blocks forward on those iron trapdoors. On the front here, we're going to place down a deep slate tile block, and then a skeleton with a skeleton skull coming off it like so. Coming off this wall, we're going to place down an iron trapdoor going back toward this way. And if you're on Java, we're going to place down iron trapdoors on the sides of the polished andesite blocks and that wall there. We'll be going ahead and taking our debug stick that we used before, and we can go ahead and then left click these trapdoors so we get selected open false. Right click this, set this to true, and it will get rid of that, or it will set them flat against the side of those blocks. An alternative to this, if you don't have the debug stick, would be to use birchwood trapdoors, but again, iron trapdoors here are going to be the best block to use. After we have that all done, we want to go ahead and then grab our mossy cobblestone walls and our dark oak wood fence gates, some zombie heads, and we're going to place down 2 mossy cobblestone walls on top of these 2 blocks here. Then on the sides of these walls, we're going to place down dark oak wood fence gates, and then we're going to place down a zombie head coming off those fence gates, and then a mossy cobblestone wall on the back here of the fence gates for the missiles on the wing tips. You can also, Java players, take your debug stick and you can left click this forward fence gate that connects to that zombie head. You can go ahead and get the prompt selected in wall false, right click this, set that to true, and it will actually line up those fence gates. So it's kind of a nice way to make that thing make it look a little bit better. One thing I do want to note real quick is that since we're kind of getting into a little bit of that color scheme above, for the build, we're going to be going ahead and building the entire color scheme area, so where you would see that camouflage in a total green color scheme. We'll be going back and talking about the tan, or adding the tan, and kind of talking about the camo at the end of the video, but just to make things easier for the tutorial, we're just going to be building it totally in a green color scheme, and then you guys can alter it from there. So with that though, the last thing we really have to do here is to kind of get started with our second rocket pod, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and use these 5 iron trapdoors, and we're just going to build a row of iron trapdoors to the side of them. So really simple stuff there, and that's going to get us started on that base for that next rocket pod. After that's all done, one of the actual final last things here is going to be, again, kind of dependent on what version you're on. So if you are on a version other than Java, I'd recommend placing down a birchwood fence gate coming off this wall and just kind of have it opened up toward it like that to form that connection there. However, for us, we're going to be going ahead and also modifying this, or using our debug stick for my Java players. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a block like this off from the wall. We're going to place down a lever on the side of this block. We're going to left click this with our debug stick till we get selected facing, have it connect to the wall, and then we're going to go and have selected powered and have it connect up to that lever like that on the bottom there, and that's going to basically form the front there, so you have this nicer connection here for Java players. This error connection here isn't as nice, but something that you can use as a modification to the build. And then lastly here, one of the things I did forget to include was the addition of a fence gate that should be here and also right here. And these are basically for the pilot and co-pilot to enter and disembark the vehicle. So just kind of like some steps, or not really steps, but like these little rungs that they would be able to climb on. So that will be located there on both sides from the previous layer. Anyways, though, that is going to complete everything we have for layer number 2, and with that, we'll be moving on to layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. As I mentioned before in the previous layer, this layer here, we're going to be going ahead and starting to get into that actual main color of the fuselage. Again, you can go ahead and do this in green, and that's what we're going to be doing for the tutorial. However, you can also do this in a tan using sandstone and all that kind of stuff, as this would be around the time period that the Soviets were in Afghanistan, the introduction of this helicopter, so it's very plausible to see a lot of these helicopters more in a tan color scheme with a little bit of green, so just kind of keep that in mind going forward as well. But anyways, to go ahead and get started with this, we're going to be going ahead and placing down a mossy cobblestone, or actually, sorry, rather first an anvil on top of this polished blackstone stair, and then a dark oak defense gate going forward, and then 2 end rods like that for the forward machine gun. Back from this, we're going to go ahead and take our black concrete, and we're going to place down a row of 6 of black concrete, and we're going to go ahead and use this to kind of help fill in the inside in here, because this will be our cockpit will be sitting above this, so you can leave the space open if you do want to do it interior. However, for this build, we will not be including one, so we're going to leave this as is. Then, after we have that done, after the row 6 of black concrete, we're going to take our green concrete, and we're going to place down a row of 16. We're going to be using green concrete, as the shade of green is a little bit brighter than the green terracotta. So again, we're going to be using green concrete. We're going to go ahead and place down a polished diorite full block, a anvil upside down, and then another polished diorite full block, just like we did before. You can place down a polished diorite upside down stair as an alternative right here. Then on the back here, on top of this fence gate, we're going to place down another fence gate on top of it, with the fence gate opened up toward the helicopter, and then we're going to place down a birchwood sign coming off the front of the fence gate like that. After that's done, we want to go ahead and then place down a polished diorite top slab on the side of the piston, and then we're going to place down a polished diorite upside down stair, and then a polished diorite full block. We then want to take our green concrete. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Green concrete forward, 2 black concrete, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 green concrete after that. And we're going to place down an air mossy cobblestone wall. You might run into the problem here where your wall gets updated here, and it may get rid of that debug stick, or get rid of the lever that's there. You'll have to use your debug stick here again to reset it up, but again, you'll just follow the same steps we did before. Then taking our green stained glass panes, we're going to go ahead and go off this block here, so the second from front, and we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 more glass panes back for a total of 2. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 mossy cobblestone walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 green terracotta, or green concrete, and then 2 mossy cobblestone walls, and then 2 green stained glass panes to go ahead and get our fuselage set up. On the sides here, we do have a few things to add. It's going to be a button. So a dark oak button on the side of this first, or the second from front green concrete block. And then we're going to go ahead and go back 1, 2, 3 in that 4th block back. We're going to place down another button. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and another button right there. So that's going to continue to work on our fuselage. Then for our rocket pods here to the sides, we're going to go and do the same thing on top of here that we did for this pod here. And then after we have this set up here, we're going to go and then work on our wing here. So we're going to start with a dark prismarine slab here, and then a dark prismarine stair going forward, or sorry, upside down stair going forward from it. So it's going to look like that, like this here. So you have the upside down stair and the slab behind it. Then we're going to place down a top slab coming off that stair, and then a stair right here. And then we're going to place down a top slab coming off the side of the stair. We're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves our diorite, and we're going to place down a diorite full block here, and then a dark prismarine stair going back, and then a slab, like so. And then coming off the side of the stair here, we're going to place down another top slab right there. And then taking our polished diorite, we're just going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, and 3, 2 more polished diorite blocks forward, and then we're just going to go ahead and grab a polished diorite stair and place it like this on the front here. And then after that's all done, we very simply just need to go ahead and take our iron trapdoors, and like we did for the previous pod, we're just going to place down trapdoors on the side there of the rocket pod and go ahead and close them with your debug stick. Just note, you won't be able to place down a trapdoor here because we have that slab next to that wall, so not a big deal, but that is how it should look. So again, here's a top-down view of what it should look like from up above, and with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to go ahead and go to the front up here. We're going to place down a black stained glass pane on top of this anvil here, and we're going to go ahead and go back from it with a row of black stained glass full blocks for a total of 6. So, just like that. Then behind that row is 6 of black stained glass full blocks. We're going to place down a black concrete block, and then we're going to take our green concrete, place down a row down the center here for a total of 18. And then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 polished diorite full blocks, then 3 upside down pistons. Again, an alternate to the pistons here can be a polished diorite full block, a polished diorite upside down stair, and a polished diorite top slab. So again, you can do something like this here as an alternative to the pistons. After that, we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 upside down stairs, like so, and then a top slab, and then our iron trapdoor to go ahead and create your center line. We're going to go then move to the sides here with placing down wither skeleton skulls on these three pistons, and then 2 glass panes forward, then a polished diorite full block, and a second one like that on the sides. We're going to go then place down 2 green concrete, followed by with 2 ladders on the side, then 2 red concrete going forward, and then 2 red stained glass panes to the side there. We're going to go forward from the red concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green concrete blocks, then black, green, black, green, black, green, black, green, and black. So it should look like that there. So an alternating pattern there. And then we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black stained glass and a black stained glass pane there on the front to connect us to the front. To the sides, we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence post coming off this block, and then we're going to go and go 2 black stained glass blocks back from that, followed by another brick wall, and then a black stained glass full block, like that. Then we're going to place down a row of 1 and 2 of green terracotta, and then green concrete, then a black stained glass block. So basically wherever we have our black concrete, we're going to place down a black stained glass block, and that black concrete is just kind of filling in the void that would be left if we left the inside open. And then we're just going to put our green concrete along the side there, filling in those spaces. We're going to go and continue back with 1, 2, 3, 4 more green concrete blocks, and then a mossy cobblestone wall on the very end there. And that is going to basically wrap up our fuselage besides going to this section here. And we're just going to place down a button, dark oak wood button up from what we placed previously. So just like that. After that's all done though, we're going to go ahead and then turn our attention here to our wings, and we're going to go ahead and continue to expand upon these. So for this, we're going to place down a red carpet on top of that slab there, and then another slab that goes up from that like so. And then we're going to place down a second slab, and then we want to place down 2 top slabs like that forward from it. After that's done, we then want to go ahead and place down a slab here, and we're going to go ahead and then place down a slab right behind that top slab. So it looks like that. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and place down a daylight detector. That's going to, or first off, before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab a stair. I'm going to place down a dark prismarine stair here, then a slab back, and then a narrow daylight detector, and turn that to the night mode. So it looks like that there. And then we want to go and continue on by placing down a top slab next to the stair, a slab right behind it, and then a top slab right here coming off that slab. Like that, again, to continue to form up our wings. So again, the wings are kind of the more complicated portion of this build just because they're kind of slanted back and also at an angle, so they're a little complicated and have a lot going on with them. Anyways, though, after that, we're going to go and grab our polished diorite full blocks. We're going to place down 2 full blocks and then a stair right there, like so. And we'll also grab some polished blackstone buttons. We're going to place down 2 buttons here on the side of these blocks, and also from the previous layer, we can place them on the side of those blocks as well. So that's going to be placed there on both sides. And after we have that all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have here for layer 4, looking at from up above, so we should have for the top-down view so far once you transfer the right side over to the left side. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 5. For layer 5 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to begin with by going ahead and placing down a skeleton skull that's going to sit on top of this glass pane right here. And then we're going to go ahead and place down a end rod coming off that fence or that skeleton skull going forward. We then want to place down a piston. As an alternative to the piston, you can go ahead and use a dark oak wood, another brick stair. Then behind that, we're going to place down a row of 5 of black stained glass full blocks, a black concrete block on the back here just to kind of close that back area off. And then we're going to go ahead and place down a row of green concrete down the center here for a total of 25 blocks. We then want to place down 3 yellow concrete blocks and then a yellow stained glass pane on the very end. We're going to go then place down 2 acacia wood buttons on the side of these 2 blocks here, a birchwood trapdoor, and then a dark oak wood trapdoor after that. We then want to place down 3 green stained glass panes forward, 2 mossy cobblestone walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 green concrete forward from that. On the side of these green concrete blocks, we're going to place down 2 ladders like so, and we want to go ahead and place down 2 red concrete blocks with 2 red stained glass panes on the side of those. Taking our green concrete, we're going to continue forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then another black concrete block, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 black stained glass full blocks, and then a piston here on the front. We're going to go then place down another brick slab, and again the same thing as before, you can use another brick stair. I would just make sure for this one that we place it like that instead. But for us, we're going to be going ahead, of course, using that piston there. Then coming off the piston, we're going to place down a skeleton skull. This one here preferably would be a zombie head. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that right there to a zombie head. And that would be like that on both sides. Also, if you are on Java, we can place down a dark oak button on top of this glass pane right here. And we'll do this by using our debug stick and using a dark oak button, and we can take our debug stick here, left click this till we get selected face. It should say wall. We're going to right click that to floor and have a position like that on that glass pane. So something you can do there as well. And also probably would be a good change also is to make that a green stained glass pane on both sides there. So you will have to replace that button, but I think that change right there is actually a little bit better there. So we should have something that looks like that there for the front. After that, however, we're going to go ahead and then go back from the zombie head there. We're going to take our black stained glass panes and we're going to place down a row of 3 and then a black stained glass full block right there like that. Then we're going to place down a row of green concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 2 mossy cobblestone walls to connect us to the back. Then we're going to go and expand upon our wing here by just going ahead and finishing off. We're going to place down a prismarine slab here, a stair here, and then a top slab going forward from it. We then want to go ahead and go off the top slab. We're going to place down a slab like this, and then a second slab, and then 1 slab here, and then a green carpet like that. So that's going to form up the tip of your wing there, like so. And once you have that all done, that's going to pretty much wrap up what we have there for this part. One thing we're going to go ahead and also cover real quick is the banners. So for the banners here, we're going to need to go ahead and grab a loom. And we're going to go ahead and grab 2 black banners and 2 green dye. So really simple. We're going to go into our loom. We're going to place down our black banner and our green dye. We're going to do a line that goes vertically on the left side of one banner and a line that goes vertically on the right side of another. And you're going to be placing these banners on the side of this glass pane on both sides here. And you want that green facing toward the front. So again, really straightforward, easy stuff for that. And then on the back here, we also have the aircraft number. So I have 83 with green banners and red lettering. Again, you can go and use whatever numbers you guys want there, and there are plenty of tutorials out there that do cover how to go ahead and do numbered banners. But again, it's going to be a green background and red numbering for the aircraft. So really straightforward stuff there, and once you have that all done, you're pretty much good to go. Also, we have dark oak buttons that are supposed to go across that right there, just kind of help highlight where that door is supposed to be situated. Anyways, though, that is going to finally conclude everything we have for layer 5, and with that, we'll be moving on to layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to get started with here, we're going to go ahead and begin with by placing down a dark oak button that's going to sit on top of this first black stained glass block. We're going to go ahead and place down a redstone repeater like this so that the notches like this are facing toward the back. We're going to go ahead and place down a daylight detector, turn that to night mode, 2 dark prismarine slabs, and a mossy cobblestone wall. Back from that mossy cobblestone wall, we're going to place down a long row of green terracotta for a total of 17 blocks. Then we're going to place down 4 end portal frames. And then we want to place down a row of 4 of dark prismarine slabs. We're going to go ahead and place down a dark prismarine stair and 3 green concrete blocks back. Coming off the side of the dark prismarine stair, we're going to place down 4 of these daylight detectors out to the side, turn to night mode, and then we're going to place down a row of 4 of dark oak with trapdoors after that. We also want to go ahead and place down an end rod that's going to come off this this daylight detector right there for the time being, and we're going to expand upon that in a little bit. Going back up to the front though, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak button on the side of this daylight detector, and back from it we're going to place down another daylight detector turned at the night mode, and then a dark prismarine slab. We then want to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 green terracotta blocks, 2 black concrete blocks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green terracotta, followed by 1, 2, 3 dark prismarine stairs, and 2 dark prismarine slabs, and then 2 zombie heads on top of those walls. Once we have that done, going back up to the front here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood button on top of this block here, and we're going to go ahead and place them on the 3 glass panes going forward. Again, for Java, we'll have to use our debug stick here for this section, but again, you're going to be using the same exact method that we used before. So just like that on the sides there. Then we want to place down a dark prismarine stair here, a dark prismarine corner stair, and then 1, 2 green concrete blocks back. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 polished blackstone stairs facing each other, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green concrete blocks back, 2 mossy cobblestone walls, and 2 green stained glass panes, like that, to go ahead and finish us off. Then we want to place down an item frame that's going to come off the side of this green terracotta block here. We're going to place down a black concrete block in the item frame, and if you're on Java, we'll place a dark oak wood sign on the side there as well. And then we're going to place down a polished blackstone stair coming off this one, and then a wither skeleton skull coming off that one. So should look like that there for the sides. And then we just have some cabling to do. Really straightforward. We're going to place down a barrier, 2 barrier blocks coming off this end rod. Again, you can use structure blocks. And then we're going to place down 2 buttons on the side here. We're going to go ahead and place down a row of 3 of barrier blocks coming off those buttons. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go ahead and place down a button on the side of this first one. And then on the next 2, we're going to place them on top. And then we want to go ahead and go over an angle from that row to there. And we're going to place down 2 more. And then we're going to place down, or actually, sorry, these are going to be above. So they're going to kind of go up. So they're going to go over toward the helicopter and up like this. And we're going to place down 2 buttons there on the bottom of those blocks. Anyways, though, that is going to finish what we have there for that cabling. And that is going to wrap up everything we have here for layer number 6. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 7. Moved into our next layer here, we have layer number 7. For layer 7 to get started with here, we're going to place down a green concrete block on top of this wall here. And we're going to go ahead and go back from that with a row of 13 blocks, so a total of 14. Then we're going to place down a dark prismarine slab here on the very end. After that, we're going to go ahead and go back here. We're going to place down a dark prismarine stair on top of this green terracotta block. And then we're going to go ahead and go 2 green concrete blocks back from it and a green stained glass pane to finish off your tail there. Then going back up to the front here, we're going to place down a black concrete block coming off the second green terracotta block, a zombie head coming off it going forward, and then we're going to place down 2 green concrete blocks back, 2 black concrete, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green concrete blocks, and then a dark prismarine slab. We're going to go ahead and place down a lever like this, and taking our barrier blocks, we're going to place down 2 barrier blocks like this, and then 1 coming off this one. So you have row 3 here, and then 2. We're going to go ahead and take our buttons, and we're going to place down a button here on the inside of this barrier block here, and then we're going to place it on the tops, or rather, actually, sorry, the sides of these 2 blocks leading all the way up to that lever. And that'll be done on both sides there to go ahead and, again, complete that cabling there. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down a mossy cobblestone wall coming off this zombie head here, and then 1, 2, 3 back. We're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone upside down stair, and a second stair coming off that first one to the side, and then another upside down stair right here, and again a wither skeleton skull on the side. Then we're just going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mossy cobblestone walls, a black stained glass block, and a green stained glass pane. So just like that, going back for the sides there. And I think that right there is about it. We do have on the left side here, and the left side only on top of the zombie head, we're going to have a dark oak wood fence post. And it's going to be a little bit different on the right side. I'm going to go and double check to see where we need to position this. And it's actually positioned up closer to that stair up here. So on the left side, or the left side of the aircraft. So this side here, it's going to be there, and on the right side, it's going to be up here. So we have the button in the way, so we're going to place it right here. So on top of that slab there. And that'll be done on both sides. So just make sure those are done how they're supposed to be on the two sides. And again, this right here is what it should look like for the top-down view. With that all done, though, that is going to wrap up everything we have for layer number 7 of the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 8. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 8. For layer 8 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and begin with by going and placing down a iron bar that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, that fifth green concrete block back. We're going to place down an iron bar on top of that block and then a green zombie head going forward from it. And then we want to place down 2 black concrete blocks back from the glass, or from that iron bar. We're going to go ahead and place down a row of 4 of green concrete, then a end portal frame, and then a dark prismarine slab. To the sides of the portal frame, we're going to place down another dark prismarine slab, 2 dark prismarine stairs going forward, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green terracotta blocks, 2 dark prismarine slabs, a daylight detector, again turn that to that night mode, and then 2 green carpets on top of those 2 upside down stairs there to the sides. After that, on the back here, we're going to go up from this fence post. We're going to go up, forward, and then out to the side there. And we're going to do the same thing over here. So up, I guess technically it would be back, and then like that. So pretty straightforward stuff there, and that is going to complete those 2 antenna or whatever you want to call them. So that's it for that. And then on the tail here, we're just going to place down a dark prismarine stair on top of this green terracotta block and on top of that green concrete block, and then 2 green concrete blocks back from that. And that right there is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer 8. So again, here is a top-down view of what that should look like. And with that, we'll probably just be going ahead and moving into our last final layers. Moving into our final layers, we have layers 9, 10, and 11. For these layers to get started with, we're going to place down a dark prismarine slab that's going to go on top of this zombie head here. And then we're going to place down a second slab back, and then a dark prismarine stair, a anvil, and then a dark prismarine stair on the back here, followed by a dark prismarine slab, and a daylight detector, again turn to that night mode like that. To the side of the stairs here, we're going to place down wither skeleton skulls. And then on top of the anvil here, we're going to place down a polished deep slate block like this, and then we're going to place down chains on top of these wither skeleton skulls. Coming off the wall, we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate in these directions like that. And then we want to go and place down a fence gate that's going to come off these ones, so kind of at a perpendicular meeting. And then we're going to open this fence gate away from the ones connected to that wall. So just like that. Then we want to go ahead and grab our dark oak wood signs, and we're going to place down a sign coming off this fence gate here, and on this side, and we're going to do this for every single one of our fence gates. So just like this, all the way around, and like that. Now once we have that done, on top of this block, we're going to place down a green concrete block, and then we want to place down a dark oak trapdoor coming off the 4 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go ahead and grab a flower pot, and we're going to place down a flower pot on top of the chains. And then we're going to place down a item frame that's going to go on top of these fence gates, if possible. And then once we have that done in those item frames, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a gray concrete block, and we're just going to place down a gray concrete block in those item frames like that. And that's going to be the start there for our rotors. We're going to go ahead and expand upon that once we get into our separate section dedicated to the rotors. Now on the back tail here, that's going to be the next section we're going to move on to. And when it comes to the tail, we're going to go ahead and continue on by placing down a dark prismarine stair on top of this green concrete block, then a prismarine corner stair coming off of it. Behind this first stair here, we're going to place down a green concrete block, and then a mossy cobblestone wall. We're also going to place down a green stained glass pane coming off this block here. Then we want to place down a block of netherite coming off that wall, and then a zombie head coming off the side of the wall there. Now, once we have that done, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks forward from this block of netherite, and then we're going to delete those first 3 blocks, and we're going to go and place down a row of skeleton skulls sideways. The rotors for the tail rotor appear to be white, at least in some of the models I was seeing, so that is why we are doing them this color. Again, you can do them green like we're going to do for the main, or do them black, whatever you want to do. Then we want to place down a wall that's going to go up from this block at an angle, a second wall, and then we're going to place down a skeleton skull on the top there to go ahead and do that second blade there. And then we're going to drop down here and we're going to place down a skeleton skull like this, like that, and then a wall underneath it. So it's going to create the end of the blade coming down like that. So that is going to do it for your tail rotor blades. And also I went ahead and placed down a wither skeleton skull on this block here. And then on top here, a dark prismarine stair and green concrete full block. And also for a little bit of detail, wherever I could on the block of netherite, I just went ahead and placed down some polished blocks and buttons in those spots there just for a little bit of extra detail. But that right there is pretty much it for the final layers of the build. And really at this point, all we have left to do is obviously the rotors, and then the landing gear and the camouflage that we're going to talk about at the end. But with that, let's go ahead and move into our rotors. Before we continue on, I would like to also mention that we would want to go ahead and go to these pistons and take our debug stick here for my Java players. We're going to left click these till we get selected extended false prompt, and then we're going to right click these to go ahead and get rid of that wood portion. And we're going to go ahead and do this for all the pistons we place. Should only be about 8 of them, but just make sure you get them all. You have 3 back here, then we have 1, 2, and then we have 3 up here in the front. So just make sure you get those and left click them, get rid of that wood portion, and you can see here it just helps with the overall sloping of the helicopter a lot. So that is going to conclude that, and with that, let's go ahead and continue on. Alright guys, so going ahead and move it into our rotors. So our rotors here are a bit I don't want to say complicated, but they're going to be a little bit funky just with the way we have to build them and all that stuff. But we're going to have 5 blades in total, and let's get started with this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and go to our first blade, and we're going to have this go directly straight forward. And again, these can be oriented however you want, just we're going to go ahead and do them exactly how I built on my reference model. Anyways though, with that, let's go ahead and take our dark prismarine slabs. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 4, let me go and double check my count here, and it is 14. And then we're going to place down a birchwood top slab on the front. We're going to place down a yellow carpet, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, green carpet, and then taking our zombie heads, we're going to place down zombie heads on the second slab, and we're going to place down zombie heads all the way along the side here, going up to this last one. So just like that for the blade. Then our blade to the side, again, could be a little bit different here. We're going to place down a top slab to both sides. And then we're going to go ahead and go with 4 rows of 3 diagonal. So we're going to go ahead and go forward 1, 2, 3. That's 1 row. 1, 2, 3. That's 2. 1, 2, 3. That's 3. 1, 2, 3. That's 4. So like that. And then we're going to do the same thing over here on this side. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 rows of 3. So like that, and then our last row here, we're going to go and go 1 top slab forward of our dark prismarine, and then a birchwood top slab. And same thing will be done over here. 1 top slab of prismarine and 1 birchwood. Then on top of it, just like we did before, on top of the birchwood, we're going to place down yellow carpet. On top of the prismarine, we're going to place down green carpet. Again, same thing on both sides. Like that. Now where things get different here is that for this blade that's going out to the left side, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves zombie heads, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 zombie heads, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1. So it's going to be on the side of the slabs facing toward the back. The one on the left side though is going to be on the side of the slabs facing forward. So we're going to place down 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1. So just like that there, and that's going to be on the blade on the right side. So you can kind of see here the pattern, the however you look at it from the center point here, the zombie head should be on the left side of the blade, if that makes sense. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and start working our way back. We're going to go ahead and go off this fence gate with a top slab to both sides. And then from that top slab, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 2, then a top slab. And we're going to go ahead and do this a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So we have basically this is 1, so we have the 1 top slab, then 2. That's going to be 1 section. So we're going to do the same thing 4 times. So we have 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to go ahead and place down one more top slab like this to the side, one more dark prismarine, and then a birchwood top slab. So just like that. And over here on the other side, the same thing. So again, we're going to go out to the side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, top slab to the side, another top slab, and then a birchwood top slab back. We're going to place down yellow carpet on top of the birchwood, and we're going to place down green carpet on top of the dark prismarine. And I actually messed this up over here, so let me go ahead and fix that real quick. So like that. And that's what it should look like for those 2 rear blades. Again, we're going to take our zombie heads. We're going to place down 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, and 1. So it's going to be like that for that blade on the outside there. And then or on the left side and the right side here, again, going to be a little bit different. We're going to place down a skull, zombie head there. Then we have 1, 2, or we have 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And we're going to stop it right there. And that right there is going to pretty much finish off your rotor blades. So pretty straightforward stuff. And again, you can have this oriented however you guys want, but that is going to be the rotor blades up on top there of the build. So that is going to complete that and wrap up what we have there for the build. Moving into our next segment, we have the landing gear. The landing gear, pretty simple to add for our first wheels here. We're going to be going ahead and going to this section here. So we have this first row 3 all the way across, and then we have this second row 3 of top slabs. We're going to go and go to the second row, and we're going to break that middle block. We're going to place down a stone brick wall. We're going to go then break the 2 blocks back from it, or the 2 slabs, and we're going to go and then place down iron trapdoors in its spot. Underneath this wall, we're going to place down another top slab, and then a block of coal to both sides of that top slab. On the side of the block of coal, we're going to go ahead and place down this banner design. It's basically a green banner with a black border and a black horizontal line through the center. Really straightforward stuff that's just going to go on both sides of that black concrete, or the black blocks of coal. Then after we have that done, we want to go ahead and grab our polished diorite, and we're going to replace these 2 slabs here for the doors, and we're just going to go and replace those with polished diorite. So it'll look something like that there for the forward landing gear. Then we're going to go and now move into the rear landing gear. Moving into our rear landing gear, we're going to be going ahead and going to this section here. We're going to go ahead and break this white stained glass pane and this wall right here, along with these 2 full blocks and this iron trapdoor and this top slab. So you're going to break out this 2x2 section here. In this place, we're going to place down 2 iron trapdoors here, and then we want to place down a stone brick wall here, and we're going to go ahead and go down from the stone brick wall at an angle with 2 walls like that. Underneath this first wall, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate, open it up toward the center of the aircraft, and then a birchwood sign that's going to be on both sides of that fence gate. We're also going to place down an end rod on this coming off this sign, just like that going forward. And then we're going to place down 2 of these top slabs here, and then we're going to go and drop down to 2 half slabs. So just like that. And then in this space here, we're just going to place down a iron trap door. Now, after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down an iron trapdoor on the bottom of this wall. So like that. And we're going to place down a polished black stone brick upside-down stair, and then a stair on top of it, and then 2 stairs on this side. So you're going to create this circle shape here. And then I went ahead and also used banners to go ahead and create this design here for the wheel to kind of spice it up a little bit. Basically, it's just a black banner. I did a green line vertically on the right side of one banner, green line vertically on the left side of the other, and then there's 2 lines of black horizontal across the top and across the bottom to go ahead and create that design there. And it really just kind of helps give that real impression that it's a wheel, and that adds a little bit more detail. You'll take that same design and copy it over to the other side, and once you do, you'll have your landing gear here complete for the Mi-24A Hind. And with that, the last segment of this tutorial is going to be talking about the camouflage. And the last portion of this tutorial here is going to be covering the camouflage. As I mentioned, the camouflage here is kind of just a mixture of green and tan. You could have built the aircraft in a solid tan or green color scheme, whichever you choose. I just chose to use green because, you know, green is very straightforward for military aircraft and very common. As I also said, this aircraft would have been kind of the pinnacle helicopter during the time of the Soviets' invasion of Afghanistan. So if you are building this, it's also probably very prominent that a lot of these were in kind of a mainly kind of sand color with maybe some green splotches in there, and that's kind of what we have in front of us here. So basically what I went ahead and did is I used stripped birchwood, which I felt looked really good for the color, kind of matched a little bit more closely than using that of like the sandstone, which I think is a little bit too bright. But we have some sandstone, or we used the stripped birchwood, then birchwood stairs and slabs, yellow stained glass panes, birchwood fence posts, birchwood buttons, birchwood signs, wherever we kind of needed to kind of help with the colors. And you can see here the aircraft I have in front of me is kind of mainly, I would say, more of a tan color scheme with the birchwood, but we have little green splotches kind of randomly thrown in it. And there really isn't any pattern or any method to the madness here. It's really just kind of thrown in some some big splotches of green and tan mixed together to kind of have a bit of a maybe like a 60-40 color scheme. So 60% of the aircraft in the tan color scheme and maybe 40% in the green. So just kind of a way to help, you know, add some camouflage to it and just add a lot of detail. It really just kind of helps, you know, elevate the build and just adds that detail to a whole nother level. And both sides of the helicopter I did the same. Realistically, they would be different on both sides, but just for the sake of time and all that, I went ahead and did both sides the same. But yeah, really straightforward stuff. If you need to, you can pause the video at any point to kind of copy down what I did for mine, but this is what I did for the camouflage, and you're free to copy it or use it for reference and do your own. Anyways though, that is going to conclude what I have here for my tutorial for the Mi-24A Hind. Hope you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do abuse this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for this being from the side of the build, to link to my channel or this video if this does appear in social media sites. I get a big special thanks to Derek Frost Westbrook for commissioning this build. And if you guys are interested in commissioning a build for yourselves, definitely feel free to send me an email at garrett2x4@gmail.com or contact me via Discord, and we can go ahead and set up a price and get it set up for you. With that though, thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. If you guys do enjoy, I hope to see you guys around next time. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Garrett2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.